So, let's talk about hats. No, not those hats. Not those either. Let's talk about A Hat in Time. Announced sometime in 2012 for a summer 2013 release, A Hat in Time did not get a summer 2013 release. Rather, the game's Kickstarter generated so much money that developers Gears for Breakfast, spearheaded by Jonas Karolev, stepped back to further enhance and develop the game. Officially launched October 5th on PC and December 5th, 6th-ish on consoles. They kind of surprised everyone with oh, here's the game, a day before its actual official launch. It was really fortunate that the game came out as soon as it did, because I originally planned to review this about a month or two ago, and I just never did. So I'm reviewing it now. A Hat in Time is heavily inspired by 6th generation collectathon platformers. You know, all one of them. And that's even felt with just messing around with the controls. Hat Kid's got some really good weight and traction. Her jump and double jump feel great. The wall jump's okay. The wall climbs, the dive is, Mario Odyssey kind of spoiled me on great video game dives, but I mean, that's a game by a massive company. This is made by like 12 people. Ultimately, I like Hat Kid's controls. She feels a lot like Super Mario Sunshine Mario, which is exactly what they were going for. The plot behind A Hat in Time is a bit tricky. Let's just go over the opening cutscene synopsis, and that'll kind of set the tone for everything. Hat Kid is using hourglasses to power her massive wood and mason spaceship home, and as it passes by Mafia Town, a mafia man launches himself into space, no helmet or anything, to collect the boat toll, as all boats must pay toll in Mafia Town, or something to that effect. What's the dialogue?
Boats need to pay toll in Mafia Town.
There we go. He punches a hole into the glass window, and the force of the vacuum pulls all of Hat Kid's hourglasses out, and you've got to collect them. It's one of those games. The game's nonsensical plot is kind of upheld by each of the worlds, but they each kind of have their own theme. Mafia Town is this huge open world to jump around in. It really sets the stage for what characters and what locations you'll be running around in. Chapter 2, Battle of the Birds, has 2 warring filmmakers in a studio, and you have to help out whose film you like the most and sabotage the one you don't like. Subcon Forest is... oh, what was that? What is that? Ah! And Alpine Skyline is unfortunately not particularly interesting. It's a lot of platforming challenges, although it's an admittedly awesome looking place. But I kind of stopped at its finale, so what you're seeing here is its time rift. See, in some of the worlds, a timepiece, that's our hourglass thingy, broke and created a rift to an alternate universe or the past or something, I don't know. It's not explained, and interacting with it takes you to a bonus level not unlike the secrets of Super Mario Sunshine. But even with those time rifts, there's only 40 total timepieces in this whole game to collect. Now, mods do help, but if you're on console, you will run out of content relatively quickly. It's maybe a 20-hour game at most. I'm a bit over halfway through at the 8-hour mark, and with this game's rampant speedrunning community, supposedly it's one of the most active, period, more active than Payday 2's, and just a bit less active than Mario 64's, we're probably going to be seeing 100% runs in just a couple hours very soon. Going back to the game's presentation, the visual design, especially on the effects, is absolutely breathtaking, and you can thank Martin Ellis, Chow Fanatic, for that. He's done a lot of TF2 unusual effects, and I really love his work, especially his SFM animations. And seeing him going from making YouTube poops to this is just... it's pretty brilliant. Also, with the music, you might have noticed it has a certain charm to it. Pascal Michael Stiefel channeled his best Grant Kirkhope to... why can I not say that name with an American accent? Grant Kirkhope. Pascal Michael Stiefel channels his best Grant Kirkhope and even his best Koji Kondo, and just in general, his best, to make a soundtrack that wouldn't seem out of place some 2.5 console generations ago. It's bright, it's snappy, it's quick or coordinated, and it hits the tone for each level just right every time. The soundtrack also includes a lot of really solid remix tracks from the community and guest conductors, and yeah, the Hub World song is indeed Grant's work. Outside the context of the game, though, I personally don't like listening to a lot of it. It really needs the game to go with it. It's not that I don't like the music, it's that it's very strong into the gameplay. Which, that's not even a bad thing. That's just how it's composed. That's how some game soundtracks are. Ultimately, I would highly recommend A Hat in Time, but there are a couple things I need to mention with this game, and they might harm my chances with the Hat in Time Twitter from retweeting this review, or might get me blocked, but it's just something that has decided whether people buy it or not. We can't just gloss over it. We need to kind of talk about some of the controversies surrounding this game, if you can even call them that. they are really deciding for people, like, hey, do I want to buy this or not? So let's talk about him. The first controversy of note has to do with a man by the name of John Jafari. He was co-host of the Game Grumps up until about 2013, and he had his own review series, JonTron Show, and I loved Mr. Jafari's work for the longest time. In 2017, yes, it was in 2017, look it up, I feel old too, this year has gone on for way too long. John said some rather unsavory things in an interview debate online. Let's not beat around the bush. He said some pretty freaking racist stuff, and while I'm not going to dig up any sound bites from him, let's just say it was a huge blow to his credibility and reputation on the internet. I haven't watched any of his videos, I haven't even watched his old ones since that debate, and it cut his contracts with Disney, Normal Boots, and the most relevant one of this review got his lines gutted from Yooka-Laylee. However, he's still in a hat in time, as a single optional NPC in exactly one level, who tells you what you already know and you can skip over him real easy. The way I see it is people got mad when he got removed from Yooka-Laylee, so I understand keeping him in to appease those people, but at the same time, that does kind of frustrate other people. There really is no win-win here. I guess, if anything, they're kept in here because the game is so easy to mod. Gears for Breakfast is working on actual audio replacement framework, which means in the near future, people will just probably be able to download their own community dubs for this NPC. Or you could figure it out now and remove him, I guess, without their mod tools. But the mod tools are on the way, and I can see this character getting replaced by pretty much anybody under the sun very fast. Now, the second major controversy has to do with the game's creator himself, Jonas Karlev, and a freelance animator by the name of Maxime Lebled. Maxime, known online as MaxFest2D, has done modeling, rigging, and animation work for all sorts of games, including the System Shock 1 reboot, Rack, Rust, Gary's Mod, The Stanley Parable, and a ton of Dota 2 content. You see, Maxime and Jonas had a bit of a stat, and Karlev figured he'd settle it quick. He created a fake portfolio page as a means to dox and harass Maxime. In 2012. That is 5 years ago. I understand that Maxime was and still is upset over this. Still, that was 5 years ago. I like to imagine that we grow significantly over the course of 5 years. I sure as heck ain't who I used to be 5 years ago. But the point of all this is it's been 5 years. Jonas has had to get a bunch of people to cooperate to make this happen, which shows maturity. Jonas hasn't mentioned it at all since then, which points to me he probably does regret his actions. I have no idea. I'm not going to ask him. I wasn't going to dig up a bunch of information on this, just what was accessible to me at the time. Let's just even say Jonas is still terrible. Let's say he and John are the worst people in the whole bunch. Two terrible, hypothetical people. That's a -2. Video games are at least the sum of their parts, and we've got Xander Mobus in this game. He's the conductor, seriously. Song One Cho is in this game. You know, this guy.
Your desperate schemes are foiled only by your own improvidence.
Who is also this guy.
You'll never save Prince Horace.
You never save Prince Horace. Come on. You'll never save Prince Horace.
Youngtown plays a major antagonist. Grant Kirkhope did a great hub world theme. Martin Ellis did fantastic VFX. Jenna Brown did all the amazing hand-drawn art all throughout this game. Those two artists alone did so much to finalize this game's style and feel and tone. While it is a shame that some of the other minor artists who did work in this game were supposedly underpaid, and I do implore you to seek them out and donate to their Patreons if you can, getting this many of my favorite content creators together kind of balances out any issues I have with John's inclusion or Karlev as a person. I noticed I've been using Karlev and Karlev interchangeably. It's whatever comes out of my mouth first. We can grow and change as people. We can learn from our mistakes, but we need to make mistakes first to learn from them. I sincerely hope, should Karlev see this, that he's willing to acknowledge the mistakes he's made and grow from them and make amends if he hasn't already. Sorry to have to dig all this up to drag down the review here. This made up a huge chunk of what I was thinking about the game for a while, and I figured I should talk about it because this was kind of the thought processes I went through before I made the purchase. And hey, if this did turn you off of the game, please don't pirate it or don't go to a key reseller. People worked hard on this and they don't need their work devalued like this. Watch somebody you know live stream it. Watch a Let's Play. Something. And please don't block me Hat in Time Twitter. Well, that was a bit heavy, but before I give my final verdict, I just need to let you know that this game has a smooch button down on the D-pad or 4 on the keyboard. And here is some footage of that. So, my final verdict on Hat in Time, roughness aside, is that it's a highly enjoyable game for the price, even better when on sale. The Steam Workshop makes a lot of a difference, but if you don't own a serviceable PC, you can still get an enjoyable collectathon experience out of it on console. It's no Yonoid 2, but I still highly recommend A Hat in Time. And if you want to support the artist behind it directly, I'll make sure to include links to the portfolios or Patreons in the description. I hope you enjoyed this look at the game and kind of some of the stigma surrounding it. Until next time, see you around. And please don't sue me, Hat in Time Twitter. If you like this video and you'd like to see more, I'd recommend subscribing. Patreon and social media links are in the description.